Welcome back. Now, as the lawmakers resumed plenary, one of the first things they considered was the failure of the Attorney General of the Federation to appear before the Senate Committee on Judiciary. The lawmakers made it clear they will not hesitate to issue a warrant for his arrest. However, the next day, the public officer was in the Senate. Here is how that meeting unfolded.
After 3 invitations to appear before the Senate Committee on Judiciary over what it termed a threat to the nation's democracy and for filing criminal charges against principal officers of the Senate, the man in the eye of the storm finally appears before the committee. He's not here alone. Some officials of the Ministry of Justice are on hand.
In the office of the Attorney General.
The chairman of the committee first set the tone for the meeting.
Rising on rules 42 and 52 of the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended, considered a matter of urgent public importance, to wit, imminent threat to our democracy, whereby the sponsor of the motion, Senator Dino Melaye, drew the attention of the Senate to founded allegations based upon which the AGF referred charges against the Senate presiding officers, which to him constituted imminent threat to our democracy.
One after the other, members of the committee sought answers on the issue at stake. Chief amongst these is whether his decision for filing charges of forgery against the leadership of the Senate is in the interest of the nation.
In the checks and balances that are enshrined in this Constitution, to ensure that whatever thing we are doing is in the public interest. That is Section 1743. Is that done in public interest? Is the litigation round tripping from one court to the other the best in this matter?
The Attorney General of the Federation then gives answers to the questions raised by the lawmakers. He says the rules and proceedings of the 8th National Assembly is not a legal document.
When the need for amendment to the 2007 Senate Standing Orders arose, the Senate as an institution conducted a proceeding, deliberated on the need for amendment, passed a resolution for the amendment, itemizing the relevant rules that were amended. That was in 2011, Mr. Chairman. The Senate Standing Orders of 2015, as allegedly amended, did not pass through the traditional process of doing things. So in as much as the Senate Standing Orders of 2011 were the product of the Senate procedure, a procedure that has not undergone the processes of vote and proceedings, deliberations, motion, and resolution can definitely not be the procedure of the Senate. And that is where my quarrel, inherited quarrel for that matter, comes into play. So what we are saying in essence, in as much as the Senate has the powers to regulate its procedures and proceedings, something that is done out of the procedure, out of the processes of the Senate by way of votes and proceedings, deliberations, motions, and resolutions can definitely not come within the purview of Section 60 of the Constitution, much less of being accorded legal and judicial protection. So if for whatever reason, it goes without saying that Senate Standing Orders came about without undergoing the processes as stated above, then it comes within the purview of criminality, and it has to be conducted accordingly.
The issue of forgery of the Senate rules and proceedings has generated heated debates amongst Nigerians in recent times. Many will be watching to see how events surrounding the matter will be resolved in the coming days.
Now, it was a very passionate session during the week when a motion of urgent national importance was raised over an attempt to stop implementation of constituency projects as captured in the budget.
After 2 weeks of recess, lawmakers in the upper legislative arm returned for plenary. A few minutes after, they went into a closed-door meeting, and when they opened the door for plenary, an issue that came up on the floor is a comment by the Secretary to the government on constituent allowance.
I want to look at the human psychology that is involved in this press briefing that the SGF gave. He has shown so much disdain and hatred for the National Assembly. This is the reason. There is no way you can go to an infinitesimal fraction of a budget of less than 1%, and you are picked out the National Assembly. And you know that we are the ones that really, truly and really represent the people. Every person here in the Senate, the 109 of us, and the 360 of them in the House of Representatives, if you put it together, we truly represent the people. And it is our statutory role and duty to make sure that these people are properly represented.
Some of the lawmakers gave their view on the issue and urged public officers to speak with caution.
There is a need to call a spade a spade. That is what we are saying today. The SGF has not represented the government well. Mr. President, the councillors and House of Assembly members will be better than us if we go home without taking our constituency projects in tow. It doesn't have to do with any party. We were all elected to represent our people. And that is what we have come here to do. If we are here to represent our people, we also deserve to be honored and respected by that token that is given to us to give back to them.
There were also those who believed that the Secretary to the government should not be blamed.
We know very well that from 1999 to 2003, from 2003 to 2007, from 2007 to 2011, from 2011 to 2015, there has never been 100% budget implementation. So we should not expect that this budget should be implemented 100%. There is serious economic downturn. We know what is happening in the Niger Delta, we know what is happening with the oil prices, and we know what government is getting as revenue. And what we budgeted may not be realized. So we should not expect 100% budget implementation. As much as possible, the budget will be implemented. We should not pay attention to statements made by AGF. Instead, if we want to know what precisely is happening about budget implementation, we should summon the Minister of Finance, not the AGF.
We in the profession have already sent an invitation to the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Budget to come and clarify and give us an update on the budget implementation as a whole. Because whatever has passed is a law. It's an act of the National Assembly assented to by Mr. President. And it's a law that needs to be implemented by the executive. And if that law is not going to be implemented, we have to know why.
After much deliberation on the matter, the Senate summoned Mr. Babachir Lawal to appear before its Joint Committee on Ethics, Budget and Appropriation. The committee is expected to submit its report within a week.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation honored the invitation, and here is his position on the matter.
Government has no objection to constituency projects at all. The law does not say we must implement a particular project within so time frame. You must, of course, within the spirit of the Constitution, allow the executive to also do the role of executing according to how it thinks it ought to be done. You cannot remove that privilege from the executive. Yes, it's the duty of the executive to prioritize its project's implementation. Of course, the law requires that by the end of the financial year or by the end of the Appropriation Act for this particular year, all projects ought to have been implemented given the reality of the finances that has therefore been available over the period for the government.